Ciao Juventini, Alberto here, and we've got a ton to discuss, all right? Marzio comes out and says Juve is bringing in a midfielder in the winter mercado. Well, Giuntoli wins an award, all right, for Manager of the Year for 22-23 season, and does he give us a subtle hint that that is, in fact, what is going to happen? We'll take a look at the details there. Then a Juve star has opted out of international duty, another one still being evaluated, and we've got contract extension talks happening this week right now. Let's get into it all. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. I'm Alberto. Let's rock. We're going to kick things off with Di Marzio coming out and saying Juventus will in fact be bringing in a midfielder in January. All right, so top of the list according to Gazzetta continues to be koopmeiners. All right, with now the price tag being somewhere around 25 million euros. All right, so that's actually a really good price for koopmeiners, but the alternative is Samardzic. So koopmeiners or Samardzic, apparently they top the list for realistic market opportunities in the winter mercado. I have to ask the question, everybody. If it's between koopmeiners and Samardzic, who would you choose? Let me know in the comment section real quick. For me, this is actually a tough one for me, but I always go back to this thing with Atalanta players and when they leave Gasperini, and for me, I'm actually going to choose Samardzic. He's 21 years old compared to koopmeiners, who's 25. I just think in 4 years' time, Samardzic has the tools to be a lot further ahead of where koopmeiners is right now. In this point, for me, I am going to actually go with Samardzic, and I think that the deal would actually be better in terms of how we can bring Samardzic in the winter mercado. Of course, things are tough at Udinese. They've been dealing with a ton of injuries and whatnot. Come winter mercado, depending on where they sit, they might not be able to rid themselves of Samardzic. Definitely not in a loan. They might push for outright sale. It's going to be interesting. But for me, I lean towards Samardzic. Now we get to contract extension talks. Federico Gatti could receive his extension with a pay raise coming this week. All right, so according to reports from multiple sources, including Mirko Di Natale, it could be done very soon. Rabiot's extension talks apparently have begun. All right, and Juve working on a formula on a 2 to 3 year contract extension for Adrian Rabiot. I continue with my thoughts that I shared about 2 weeks ago when we were talking about Adrian Rabiot's contract extension. For me, I would pump the brakes on anything of the sort, and I would wait on an extension involving Adrian Rabiot at least until season's end, because to be honest, I actually still do feel like last season's Adrian Rabiot is not a Rabiot that you will see consistently, but that's just me. All right, that's your contract extension talk. Now we get to international duty. Vlahovic has opted out of joining Serbia. He will stay at Continasa to continue in his recovery process. Obviously, eyes on that big matchup when we return from international break against Milan. Federico Chiesa has answered the call for the Azzurri. Earlier signs saying that he is going to skip out on the first match against Malta and then be made available for the England match, the big one. But according to Spalletti, he has been evaluated once. The test came back negative. They are still going to further evaluate him and make a decision. There is still the possibility that even Federico Chiesa could return to Contanassa. So all eyes for Juventini, especially with the big match against Milan, will be on Federico Chiesa during this international break. All right, now Giuntoli received the Malio Scopino Award for Manager of the Year for 22-23 season at the Coni Hall of Honor. Now, in terms of his interview, this is what he had to say. He basically said the objective for Juventus is to return to Champions League because it would allow the club to return to the position it deserves. All right, so there you go. Even Giuntoli speaking like a true Bianconero in terms of where Juve deserves based on the point standings of last season and whatnot. So a nice choice of wording there from Giuntoli. And then he continues on that we want to make the most of what we have, trying to do the best with the players we have, but we have to evaluate everything and we will assess the situation in January. So again, the subtle hint, and this is multiple times now within a week, that management, different figures in management, have essentially said to us that they realize that the quality is not to the standards of Juventus, but they are trying to do the best with what they have, and they will be assessing the situation further ongoing, not just winter mercado, next summer and whatnot. So this is, again, something that we have all come to realize, that the quality of the roster has dropped significantly. Well, Giuntoli tells us that, yeah, they recognize that, but they're still trying to do the best with what they have, and he will assess everything. In January, we could have a move. Again, the early signs here indicating from reports that it's koopmeiners or Samardzic potentially. We've also heard other names. Sudakov, Kefren Turam, I don't think is a realistic option. But again, I raise a question. If those are the top two targets, who would you choose between koopmeiners and Samardzic? That wraps up your news update to today. Juventus, you guys know the drill. I'm going to be here every day. We will have some fun live sessions throughout the international break as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that, all right? As always, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ciao tutti, take care. An international break is upon us. Enjoy it.